while we're talking about AI being implemented into games, we have to talk about our next topic, which is arc raiders, where the robots are AI overlords that are learning how the players play and implementing that into the game. I think is awesome. We also talked about GTA 6 last week, and that's another game that has implemented AI, which just AI being able to self learn from the players and against itself is really next level for gaming. And we're seeing it specifically with arc raiders right now, a continually evolving game with AI enemies. And while we are on that subject, I think we should ask the question with arc raiders: have the devs got lucky with how far the game has progressed within the past month since it launched, or are the devs skilled? What do you think, Dom?
Yeah, so I'm kind of going to give a cop-out answer and say both. The Arc Raider development team definitely had some skill involved with obviously having to create the game, and the concept and everything that they used with the game for an extraction shooter, it was very good. What you mentioned with the AI robot overlords, it's a good concept, so I got to give it to them. That part is skill, but again, I feel like every single game that goes viral nowadays and gets a lot of people to play it, there's definitely an aspect of luck involved. All it takes is one or two clips or Instagram reels or TikToks to go viral. Now everyone's like, what is this game? I want to play it. And that kind of aspect of it can be luck for marketing. So I'm going to give you a cop-out answer and say the devs got lucky, but they were also skilled enough to create a good game with a good concept.
I hear you. I definitely hear you with that, and I think I'm gonna have to agree with that answer. What comes with any game that is a top game, especially when it's not a franchise game so far, and it's a new, just a new title. It takes a little bit of luck to get out there and actually see how it's gonna go. But I really do think Arc Raiders did a really good job with that. The devs are some former employees of the DICE studio, which is the studio that created Battlefield 3 and 4, which, legendary games in itself. And their new studio recently created the Finals, which is, if some of you have seen that game, it's incredible movement wise, style wise. They're doing new thing. They're definitely bringing a resurgence back into just the shooter game genre, which is pretty awesome. With the player base, we've definitely seen like steady growth over this past month. How long do we think this growth can last?
Yeah, so that's a good question with the player base and how long can these players keep playing the game and continue to recruit new players to play the game? I guess time will really tell and give the answer, but in my opinion, I know we had this discussion off topic, off camera a couple days ago when you were mentioning how, you've played the game for 16-20 hours and you feel like you already got it, that you've done everything, you already know how to play the game well, and there's not really much of a challenge or anything else for you to use and play. And I think that's obviously an issue with any game. We mentioned too, other games like RV There Yet not having a lot of actual play hours, which kind of hurts some games because, you buy it and you play it for like 8 hours and you're done. So that's a big part of, I guess, how we'll see, time will tell with how this player base will either keep playing the game or move on to something else entirely. And it's really just what can the devs do to keep players addicted to the game and to keep players engaged with whether it's new content or DLCs or any ideas on how they can the players engaged.
Fully agree with you. I completely agree with that. Well, time will be the only thing that can tell. Actually, right now I'm playing a little bit of Arc Raiders. Just got a little Noxky, guys. Just so you guys know. We are locked in still. We aren't just talking. We do our research here. We're doing research right now, currently, while we're in the middle of the show. JK. We've already. Oh my lord. We've already done about, but we are enjoying the game, which is another thing we want to talk about out here is the gameplay. The game employed a catfish style of marketing to market the game originally before the game launched. Just to explain this to you, Dom, the original game trailer for the game was like you're basically able to do Superman style stuff on the robots. Like you're just being thrown into the game to dominate the robots, basically. And now they kind of changed the subject or the actual kind of gameplay that we've seen with the robots becoming the hunters and you being the hunted. So it was presented the opposite of that. What do you think that does in terms of just overall marketability and maybe just how people view the gameplay of the game?
That's interesting. I like that you explained to me kind of the catfish marketing event because I had no idea what. I never saw the trailers. I really had no idea what you meant when you said the catfish marketing. But in general, I actually think it's a good idea. I like when games, and especially in my opinion when I'm thinking of this with catfish marketing, when movies, they have a trailer and you think you know what the movie's going to be about from the trailer, and then you actually sit down, you get your popcorn, and you watch the movie, and it takes you somewhere else entirely. I love that concept because me personally, I don't really like trailers. I think trailers are quite honestly a waste of time, and they kind of spoil what's going to happen in the game or the movie. So for me, I don't really like trailers. So I kind of like the idea of having, the trailer being, hey, like, you're going to punch up on some robots and create havoc, and then next thing you know, you get into this game and they're hunting you. You got to watch out for them. I like that concept personally.
Agree with you. I really think they did a good job doing that, and just being able to market their game in that way. And I really like how you talked about movie trailers in general, because I'm the same way. Like, you have to have a reason to watch something, and if something's already being shown, why would you want to go see it? Give people a little cliffhanger of something, and they actually have a reason there to see what the hype is about around it. I think we're seeing that with ARC Raiders right now, especially with the hype. Everyone's trying to see what is actually going on with the game.
Yeah, and just staying on topic with gameplay and talking about ARC Raiders gameplay specifically, I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but do you think that ARC Raiders current gameplay is enough to last multiple months in a full gaming cycle? Do you think the player base is going to be able to enjoy the gameplay at its current rate right now?
I definitely think there is enough right now for people to continually play the game and for it to have a lifespan. They have announced more lifestyle updates very soon in the future, which I'm very hyped to see what is going to go on with those. But to answer your question, realistically, I do, just because we've seen games like Rust not have habitual updates and they're still able to last. I think this is one of those games where it really hits that niche crowd, where that niche crowd will always continually play this game as long as the game has service.
Okay, cool. You mentioned a couple updates. What else do you think that the dev team can do to improve the gameplay?
Revives past death. I think the defib should be able to revive you if you are fully knocked. I don't think we need totems like Fortnite, like Warzone, where you can res people from a drop zone. I think you should have to res people from where they fully die, but I think you should have to do that.
Okay, that makes sense. I can see that. So I guess the question really is not just for you, but for the viewers at home too. You've played ARC Raiders, whether you like the game or you don't like the game. What do you think the dev team can do to improve the gameplay? Any updates, features you'd like to see? Let us know in the comments. Do you have anything else you'd like to talk about with ARC Raiders?
I'm really hoping we see seasonal updates here soon. Like, realistically, we better see a snow update for Christmas. If we don't see a snow update for Christmas, I'm gonna be very disappointed in the dev team.
That's a good point, and I think that's something that not just ARC Raiders, but a lot of games could take notes on. I want to see all of the maps covered in snow. I want to see Christmas lights. Let's get in the festive spirit. A lot of these games aren't real anyway, so there's no really focus on realism per se. Just make it fun, Screw it. Make one of the robots a snowman. Do something,
Exactly.
Yeah, let's get into it. That's how I feel. But yeah, so that's cool. I don't have anything else to add for ARC Raiders. If you have nothing else to add, we can move on to our last segment of the show, which is going to be the longest segment, where we rank best games in 2026 right now, the present games in 2025 and 2026. It's going to be a big segment. We're going to be going deep into this tier list. So ladies and gentlemen, if you stick with us this far, please grab some popcorn because we're going to get into it in this next segment. We'll see y'all there.
And don't forget to hit that like button.
Hit that like button. Yep. Take a quick break now. Subscribe if you're new. Follow us on Twitter, on X, at Resin with an L, and at Dominick Diaz. And we'll see y'all after the segment.